I'm not like old or anything. I don't know how I never figured that out. I don't know.
Welcome to Woodshop 101. This is episode 149 from March 4th, 2019. This is the first episode of our brand awareness series. I'm Jeremy Crawford of the Countryside Workshop, and I'm joined today by my co-host Drew Short of Rockin' H Woodshop, and our guest host Richard Grove from Wall Control. What's going on, everybody?
How are you doing?
Good. So,
how you doing, Richard?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
Okay, there we go.
So,
my earplugs fit and everything's great.
So Sam's not going to be able to join us tonight. She's actually got tied up at work. So she definitely sends her regards because she wanted to be here. But I guess life of being a house manager, you're at the mercy of the family you're managing.
Yeah, but the house never calls in sick. So, I mean, what's her excuse?
True. So, all right. Well, we want to thank our patrons, John Ramager, Sean McHenry, Carl Mose, Neil Sims, Eric Roten, and Jeb Braswell. And if you guys want to become a patron of our Patreon campaign, head over to patreon.com/woodshop101. All our patrons receive an after show twice a month as a benefit. You can also support the show by purchasing some podcast swag at countrysideworkshop.com/shop. While you're at it, go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating on any of the podcast players of your choice. Spotify, Slacker, iTunes, any of those. Go leave us a 5-star rating on any of them because it definitely helps us get in front of more audience. So,
I'm sporting swag too, by the way.
I'm gonna go as soon as this is over. I'm gonna go do all those things because I didn't.
Look at that.
I don't know how to do all this. So yeah,
He's like,
y'all are teaching me, man.
he's like, I'm gonna go do all those things. How do you do those again?
Yeah, exactly.
I need some directions.
Yeah, I got my old school Toshiba set up. I bought my headphones. I'm all set now, man. So
Yeah, see? I mean, when you sent me, you're like, do I need to go get a camera? I'm like, dude, how old's the computer? It's pretty
I
sure
swear, man, I had no idea it has one. There's a little blue light. I'm looking like I logged in and I set it up and the light came on and the camera popped up. I was like, all right, I got it all. It's all here. So
I never knew it did that.
yeah, exactly.
Dang.
I don't know how I'm not like old or anything. I don't know how I never figured that out. I don't know.
Well,
Edit all that out.
I mean, how old is the computer?
I'm probably older than you, Richard.
I don't know.
I don't know. If you are, you'd fool me. So
I'm 39.
a little. You actually are a little bit. Just
See?
a very little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah, Drew,
I'm an old soul. I don't know.
Drew's the grandpa of the show.
Yeah.
I'm the Gramps. When Gramps isn't here, I'm the Gramps.
Yeah.
So
Who is Gramps? Sam?
Gramps is Sam's granddad.
Oh, Gramps. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
You're calling Sam old?
Huh?
Sam's
No, I thought you were. I'm not. Look, I'm. Can we rewind and start everything over again?
Sam, you didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's
That's all right. We
and commercial.
it's like, all right, let's go to our commercial break.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
All right, well, Richard, give us like your 60-second like elevator speech about like who you are.
Okay.
Not necessarily Wall Control, but just
Yeah.
like I know you got a pretty unique background. So just kind of give us a rundown.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Richard Grove with Wall Control. My dad and granddad started Wall Control. My granddad started a tool and die shop in the '60s, and I guess long story short about me, I went to school. My background is in mechanical engineering. I worked for the Department of Defense right out of college. I went mechanical engineering because I always wanted to go work for my family. But one rule they had was you got to go do something first, which I totally think is a good idea. You need to get some experience before you do one thing for a long time. So I worked for the DoD. I worked on the C-5 Galaxy, which was a huge Lockheed cargo plane. It was a great experience, had a blast. And then I came back to Atlanta and went to work for my family. And at that time, Wall Control was more than an idea. we had formed a entity, Wall Control Inc., and proceeded to get patents for it. But my family's in manufacturing, and small scale manufacturing, not like big stuff. I mean, we make big stuff, but not in huge quantities. And basically, I came in and I was kind of half and half, tool and die manufacturing, and then wall control. Because at the time when I got there, it was just my dad and one guy in a warehouse trying to fill, like an order a day kind of situation. And quickly, I think because it's a great product, and a little attention was given to it, it started to grow into something a lot bigger than kind of one order a day. And I'd say I spent maybe 1 year there doing tool and die engineering side, and then after that, it's been wall control ever since. So, and I've been there since 2008, so going on 11 years in June. So, yeah.
So what did you have a specific part of the C5 that you worked on?
Yeah, so my background is mechanical engineering, but I was actually, the way it works is, and I had secret clearance. I guess I still do. I don't think that expires or anything, but
yeah, it expires after 10 years.
Yeah. Oh, is that right? Is that what it does?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't have that anymore, as of a little while ago. But yeah, so I was on the structural team. Basically, it was me and two other engineers, and we would take fill requests for people over the warfighter overseas, where there was something happened to the aircraft, and they needed engineering support to say, yeah, it's airworthy or it's not, or we need to bring it back to depot for repair. Basically anything that happened to the plane, because obviously, I mean, the plane was built in the 60s and 70s, and we're not taking on new C5s. The C-17 is kind of the new version of that. So we were trying to keep that thing flying because there's nothing as big as that, in the fleet of Air Force cargo planes. So we were sourcing parts, new parts, and we actually, when I came over, we made some infittings for them, just a few right out of the gate, just because they were having trouble sourcing stuff. A lot of the trouble, not to go down a rabbit hole here, but for these old aircraft, they're all hand drawn blueprints. So you're soliciting work, and contractors are making parts based on blueprints that were drawn in the 60s and 70s. And when you actually put them on the plane, sometimes they don't fit right, and they're made exactly per the drawing. And it's just because they made some changes on the fly. And how do you handle that, and how do you keep the plane flying? How do you keep missions being successful? So it really is it was a challenge with an old aircraft in 2007, trying to keep that thing flying, because I think at the time there were about 100 planes still in the fleet between all of them. And I was working a lot with Lockheed because they were doing glass cockpit outfits on some of the older models. It was fun. It was cool. It was challenging, but it was a fun job. So I was in Warner Robins. I went to school at Mercer down in Macon. So I had a bunch of friends down there. A bunch of us took jobs for the DoD, working at the base. So it was nice. But I always wanted to be back in Atlanta. Always wanted to work for my family, and so I came back, and wall control is my baby, and it's been a fun ride, the whole time. So there's been a lot of challenges, but it's been fun, by and large. So.
Well, definitely have a diverse background there. It's where not anybody can say they worked on a plane.
Yeah, it was. I got cool pictures I should send y'all of being on the wings of it, on the flight lines. It's cool. Like whenever they'd have something, like some government official or somebody important come down, they would open up the front end of the C5 and put, big flags in the front of it, and it's just fun to walk down there. I enjoyed it a lot. It was sad to leave for sure, yeah. But I wouldn't have changed anything, but I loved everybody I worked with. I worked with people that I went to school with, and the people I met were awesome. So yeah. I still keep in touch with them.
Well, yeah, if you got any of those pictures, shoot them our way. I'll throw them
Absolutely
in the show notes, and
Yeah.
you can go check them out. So,
yeah, I will absolutely do that.
all right. Well,
Were you like 10 pounds lighter in them pictures?
Dude, I was heavier, I think, actually. So it was it's funny. I was gonna say that. I was like, I don't know. I got into running and riding bikes after I graduated, or after I got back up here, because you start gaining, like, there's the freshman 15, and then there's like the post grad like 50, and it's like it hits like a ton of bricks. And so I got back, and I think I ran into like an old neighbor, and he's like, "Man, you got fat. Like, your head is very round." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go buy a bike, and I'm gonna start running." And so yeah. Anyhow, don't judge my pictures. It's gonna be.
Do you
You already did. Sorry.
do you road bike or mountain bike?
I do I love bikes, man. Like I do a lot of road bike. I'm not the annoying guy on a road bike, but I follow all the rules. But I do probably 80% road bike, 20% mountain bike, and I mean that's 100%. But a little bit of the mountain biking is gravel bike. So
okay.
They're different if you're like in the community.
Urban biking.
Or like you're on a different bike in a mountain. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how to explain it. Do y'all ride bikes at all?
I'm a big mountain biker.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
So like gravel grinding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All right. So I'd say, all right, let me redo this for you since you know what you're talking about. So 80% road bike, 10% mountain bike, 10% gravel grinding.
Okay.
All right. So that's the breakdown.
Yeah. So I know. I mean, I'm pretty big. In fact, just about a year and a half ago. Oh yeah, I'm that person that like I'm not timid on the bike, but I don't go do the stupid stuff until I get the peer pressure from my buddies, and then I go like off the big jumps and all that other stuff. And yeah, in fact, just I think about a year and a half ago. Yeah, I think about a year and a half ago, I separated my shoulder by hitting a tree.
Yeah.
I came off a series of 3 jumps going at a slight downhill, and came off that last. Well, I did the series probably 4 or 5 times, and the last one we were like, all right, we're gonna do it one more time, and then we'll get going. It's getting dark, and I came off at an angle, and I went to correct, and I just started sliding across the pine needles, and just say that tree didn't move.
Yeah, they don't move. They don't move a lot. Yeah, you're separated shoulder, broken clavicle. Those are the 2 biggies. I mean, that happens a lot. So, because it's like your first instinct when you're going down, if you're not hitting a tree, is to put your arm out and stop it, and that pops this little guy right here. So, So it's worth it though. It's fun, man.
So do y'all? I mean, obviously I know there's no mountains in Atlanta, but do y'all have any like dirt courses? Like we don't have any mountains here in Charleston either, but we have some pretty good trails out through the woods and stuff that have been made.
Yeah, there's Soap Creek's a big one. It's by the Chattahoochee, and it's a really good one if you're in Atlanta. I mean, you'd be surprised, man. Atlanta's got a lot of terrain to it. And so you can kind of find some, and the thing about I was saying, I do about 80% road bike, and Atlanta, it sounds like a crazy thing to do because, you hear about all the traffic and stuff, but you get back in like the neighborhoods and it's nice. There's like, I ride early Saturday, Sunday morning, and there's nobody on the road, and you're going through, residential areas that speed limit's 35. It's a nice day. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna do like a gravel ride, I'll head up to like the Gaps and go up to North Georgia and do something up there. So that's kind of the perfect gravel situation.
Nice. Wow. Maybe we'll next time I come down, we'll have to go find some trails.
Absolutely, bring your bike. And it's the kind of like the Workbench Con situation. It's like the friends that I have in that space is what makes it fun. Like it's like It's like a social thing, Like I wouldn't just go out by myself. I don't ride. I never ride my bike by myself. If I'm gonna be by myself, I'll just go run. But like the guys that I ride with, that's that's what makes it fun, So also, I don't want to see my old neighbor and him ask me who I am because my head's so round. So those two things make me ride bikes.
Awesome. All right, well, we're going to jump into some questions. So Drew and I are just going to go back and forth. We're going to ask you some questions. The goal here is to answer them in as few words as possible and as fast as you can.
That's hard for me. I talk a lot.
I don't know. We might have to if we get into something, maybe we'll have to dive a little bit more into it. But Drew, you want to kick it off?
Sure. Let's just say, because I guess with your background in working on planes and things like that, I'm sure you like this engineering stuff. So if you could have any car in your garage, what would you own and why?
That's a good question. That's my baby. It's my 4Runner. I love it. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
there
a
we go.
Toyota guy myself. I got a Tundra.
Yeah, this right here.
I mean, if you could own anything, I wouldn't say it should be a 4Runner.
That's true, but I'm a big fan of that.
I mean, I would say, all right,
anything. Okay,
something.
Anything. All right, I'm also a car guy. I love cars. And there's not been anything lately that's really excited me, honestly. And like, if I could have anything, but the new Defender that Land Rover's coming out with.
Oh,
have you seen this?
Yes.
That would be the car I'd want, is the Defender. Like, I take an old school Defender now, but that might not be super practical. But I don't know, and I don't know how good it'll be. But the new Defender is what I would take.
He just wants to take out everybody in Atlanta traffic. Is what he wants to do.
Also, I don't know if you've ever been in Atlanta when there's like a snowmageddon, but you've got to have 4-wheel drive and you got to have all-terrain tires at the very least. So otherwise, you're going to be sitting in traffic for 15 hours trying to get home.
So, all right. I mean, that's a good choice.
That's a good one. Yeah.
All right. If you could only eat one more meal, what would it be?
It would be tacos or burritos. Some tacos or burritos, or a bowl of the two.
Okay.
Preference on where they come from?
That's a good question. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I eat at Moe's, and then Tuesday and Thursday I eat Chipotle. So
you're a big Mexican person.
I know. I'm weird, man. Like, I don't know. It's got it all in there. It's got your proteins, you're not too bready carbs, your beans, salsa. Am I answering these with very long answers?
No, you're good. You're good. So, all right. Drew, what we got next?
What is your favorite movie? This always stuck.
Okay, all right.
He's going to say something like You Got Mail.
No, it would be. So we used to be into racing, like local short track stuff, dirt and asphalt. So it would be Days of Thunder. I'm gonna go Days of Thunder.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, if y'all haven't seen Days of Thunder, y'all need to go check it out. It's pretty good.
Really? You definitely should do that.
Yeah.
See, I'm a big Fast and Furious fan. I just like all that action. But
very similar.
Days of Thunder was a good one.
I mean, I think any racing, just about any like blockbuster racing movie is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. What's your favorite book and why?
My favorite book. I'm partial to what I just read, so I'm going to say Into the Wild and then Into Thin Air. I know they've been out for a while, but I really, I don't know. They just kind of take you away from everything, you know?
Yeah. All right. Into the Wild's a pretty good book. I read that one.
Yeah. So. I didn't like the movie as much, but the book was good.
Yeah.
That's such a shady thing to say, but yeah.
But that's usually the most common. Anybody that likes the book, they usually don't like the movie, but anybody that likes the movie doesn't like the book. So
very true. Yeah.
Very few people like both of them. So
yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm not a big reader. I don't read.
Yeah. What's reading? I don't know.
Yeah. What's that? I need pictures.
Well, look, I got a lot of flights to be reading.
Talking about podcast guys, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
I need an audio book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do both. I do both audiobooks and regular books, but I like to read, especially on like my long flights. You know, like the one well, from which you guys are listening to this, I'll be hopping on a flight a week before which I'll listen to this. So those 15-hour flights, 13-hour flights, like those are the ones I really like to have like a good book, just because like you're already gonna have headphones in, like listening to movies or whatever. So sometimes you just like want to get out of it and read. So,
can you guys sleep on a plane?
oh yeah,
I cannot
fully.
sleep on
I
a
could
plane.
close my eyes. I could literally close my eyes right now and be asleep in probably a minute and a half.
All right, so I'll answer your next question. What superpower would you like? And it is to be able to sleep on an airplane. Because it would save me so much. If I could sleep on an airplane, I'd be a much more rested person.
That is the weirdest superpower I think I've ever heard somebody say.
Yeah. Those are the best.
Why wouldn't you?
Marvel will
sleep
will
on a
see
plane?
this and
You
then
can
they'll
just
copy it.
bypass the plane.
Yeah, like
Fly yourself.
why or
Second
teleportation.
question or third question, whatever question we're on. Biggest weakness: inability to answer genie questions.
Nice. All right. Well, let's get into walk control. Right. That's why you're here. Well, we had you on really
Sure.
to kind of learn about walk control. Tell us a little bit more about the backstory of walk control. I know you said your family kind of started in the dye process and manufacturing, but kind of walk us up through some of the steps, like some more of the milestones about how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, that's a good question. So at its origin, we were in tool and die and metal stampings, and in the early 2000s, the economy kind of slowed down, and basically we're what you call a third tier manufacturer. So we make parts that like sub assemblies don't want to make themselves necessarily. Like if you're a very automated manufacturing line, sometimes there's what you would call a messy part where it takes like a lot of hand manipulation, or it actually takes like human eyeballs looking at it and making a decision on a part by part basis. And those are the kind of parts that we'll run. So, things were kind of going along okay. And then year 2000 hit and the economy started to shrink, and all these kind of ballooned bigger manufacturers had all this capacity, and they started pulling all their tooling out of our shop. It's like, okay, well, now we have the press open. Let me have this die back, or we don't need your die shop. We'll make this ourselves, that kind of thing. And so we started seeing all this stuff leaving our shop because other people had met capacity, or maybe they found a better price in Mexico or China, or whatever the case may be. So we actually had started doing some prototype wall control stuff. We looked for a tool storage system for ourselves, but it was either like they were incredibly robust and almost over-engineered and super expensive to where it wasn't like super economical for us, or it was like press board, which isn't good in a tool and die shop because you get oils and lubes and stuff on there and it warps and frays. Plus we're in Georgia, super humid, all these different reasons why that wasn't great. And then plastic wasn't working too well either because we're hanging heavy die sections on it. There's not really a good shelving mechanism. So we were like, okay, so we made this for ourselves. We cut it out on a laser, and it's worked pretty well for us. So what if we went down the road of trying to, make this as our own product, something that would actually not leave our shop, something that we controlled the manufacturing and production on. So my dad and granddad, I don't want to go off on tangents, but I'll just talk if that's okay.
Yeah,
I don't
go ahead. No,
okay.
You're good.
Yeah, so my grandfather from the tool and die shop, he's got two daughters, my mom and my aunt. And my mom and my dad, they actually went to high school together in Tucker, which is the city that you guys came to, and where wall control and DeKalb Tool are. High school sweethearts. My dad started working for my granddad when he was 18, and so he's been there 40 plus years. And so I think 40 plus anyhow. So he and my granddad partnered up on wall control, and my dad had the idea and the design. My dad's name's on the patent, and my granddad brought the manufacturing capacity to it. And so that combination, it was born in concept and in patent, and they started trying to tool up for it to make it. And that's pretty much what happened from 2000 on till I got there in 2008. And it was just a slow progress and a slow progression of things because, my dad's trying to do tool and die and manufacturing, trying to keep work in the door, keep people busy. And we're trying to build tooling, while we're trying to get wall control up off the ground. So that's kind of, and that's where I came in. So I came in 2008, and I was able to focus a little more on it and give it kind of the attention it deserved. And so, man, I am talking a lot. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You're good.
This is good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I got there and I was doing tool and die and trying to do a little bit of work for the DoD, some stuff they needed some help with, which was kind of hard work for the CNCs that we have. So we were kind of getting away from that, and I was focusing more on wall control. And then honestly, we were hitting trade shows pretty hard with homemade displays. Me and my dad, the first summer I was there, drove out to Las Vegas with a enclosed trailer behind his truck, me and him, all the way out there, set it up ourselves, then hauled it back. And from the time we left, my brother was playing his senior football game at that time. And from the time we left Vegas till the time we got back, those hours divided by the miles, we averaged 65 miles an hour. That's counting every stop. And it took us 33 hours to get back. So we were like, that's the last time we're going to do that way. So it was something. So, I mean, there's, we kind of hacking it for a while, good and bad advertising decisions, just not knowing, we've always been a manufacturing tool and die shop. We don't know how to take a product to market at the retail, end user level. And so that was new to us. So just trying to figure that out. And we kind of fumbled along for a little while, and you start making relationships, and you meet the right person here and there, and it kind of goes down a certain road. And so we started having little breakthroughs, and you just the key is you kind of focus on the opportunities that come up and kind of build on, you just try to leverage whatever momentum you can grab. And that's what we started doing. And it started, really getting ahead of steam about it. Probably, I've been there 10 years, probably 6 years ago. We really started feeling like we were going somewhere. It was becoming something that was a lot more substantial than just, DeKalb Tool and Die's little project that was going on. And we started really kind of becoming a brand. And then kind of fast forward to today. And now I'm doing a podcast in my garage. So that's pretty cool. But no, I mean, you find these connections and these relationships, and you kind of stick with them through thick and thin over the years. And it's just crazy where that stuff takes you, even just a year from, the time those kind of things start. So I think we're a product of just kind of grinding it out and word of mouth, honestly. If you really boil what wall control is down, and a great product, I think we live in a day and age where people just make a first wag at something, and they just stick it on Amazon. They see if it'll fly, and that's the last. It's we got the product. We're going to stick it out there and see how it works and see what kind of revenue we can generate from it. But it's never refined or iterated on. And wall control it's certainly not perfect. There's things that we're working on every day, but we continue to work on it. Any criticism we get of it, or any feedback that's not positive, is absolutely taken to heart, and we focus on that. We try to change it and make it better. And I think that's what's made us a pretty good brand, in my opinion. I'm certainly proud of it, and especially considering where we started and what we had to start with, kind of where we've came. Or come from.
So here's a question to kind of put it in perspective for people. You said that you guys started really feeling like a pretty decent business about 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. About how many orders were you filling let's just say per month during that 6 years versus what you're doing now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know the exact number, but we're doing way more now than we were doing then. And then I didn't know how we would do what we were doing then. That's kind of like another thing, like economies of scale a little bit. Like 6 years ago, it was me and my mom was like entering the orders, and we probably had 3 or 4 warehouse guys like fulfilling that. So I mean, not much at all. I mean, really, really small volumes. And then my numbers might be off. It could be like 2 years off, but 4 or 5 years ago, my brother was working in Atlanta, and we were able to bring him on, and that helped too. I mean, then he kind of took over the operational side of it, and you leverage that extra capacity, like that human resource capacity, kind of like we were talking about earlier. And it's it allowed it to grow without a lot of like extra strain. So I don't know if I'm answering this right, but like 5 years ago, I didn't know how we would get the number of orders we had out the door. And then now we're doing way more than that, but I still don't know how we're going to get them out the door. And I just think about like 5 years ago, Richard, and he didn't know how he was going to do that. And I don't know how I'm going to do this, but he figured it out. So maybe I'll figure it out too. It's like you kind of, you gain confidence that really helps you kind of get through those breakthroughs, I guess. So,
yeah. Well, and, this day and age, more technology, more focus based, and the fact that you can always lean back on some other companies that you build those relationships with and get that advice that sound like, hey, like, this is where we're hitting in business. These are the struggles we're having, whether it be, Craig or Rockler or any of those other companies out there that you work at, and say, hey, look, like, what are some ideas to overcome this? How can we make this process faster? Right. Mm-hmm. So, that's always a benefit, especially now in today's age when just everything is so connected. So y'all sell through Amazon, correct?
Yes.
So are you part of the Amazon like Prime program?
Yeah. So
that's got to be a beast in its own, right? Because I know, like, reading a little bit into the program a while back and exactly like what it entails. Like, if you offer a product and you're in that program and you don't have orders out in the 2 days or the 24 hours or whatever it is, like, you can actually be kicked out of the program.
Oh yeah, it is a very delicate. I don't know if ecosystem's the right word, but it's super. I mean, they're incredibly strict. They put a lot of parameters around their suppliers. It's hard to say, like. It's hard to say, like, on a recording, like, all the different kind of challenges that you face as a brand. Yeah. But it is, it's a challenge. I mean, it really is. And the shame of it is, in my perspective, is it's been a great tool for growth, and you've got to be there to get your brand out there and have it in front of people. Like, I shop on Amazon all the time. It's, well, as a guy saying this, it's like my number one place, and it's if you're ignoring that, then someone else is going to be there. So we will continue to fight in that space. I mean, aggressively we do, and be there. But it is hard, and the frustrating thing for a brand, in my perspective, is it could be much more of a win-win. Like what's happened over the years is Amazon. It's not that it came out of nowhere, but it just ballooned so fast, and it became such a big percentage of like top line revenue for a lot of brands, that you start to become reliant on it, right? And you're fine with that. Everything's going good. And then all of a sudden you realize how fragile it can be and the carpet can just be ripped right out from underneath you. And then what you start doing is you start backpedaling. You're like, all right, well, how do we unleverage ourselves from this behemoth that we've somehow, it's like a Venus flytrap. You just slide down in there and it swallows you whole. And so at the end of the day, you just try to protect your brand. And that's kind of what I've tried to focus on is, making Wall Control more than just some listing with a bunch of stars and good reviews. You know what I mean? Like you gotta try to protect who you are. And Amazon has a way of just kind of making it all wash out, and what's a big deal to us is not a big deal to them. I mean, this is the world's biggest company with the biggest market cap ever or whatever. And it's like, what do they care about Wall Control? They don't care very much. I care a lot about it. So it's like, how do you not become 100% reliant on a company like Amazon to make your payroll? Like that's the challenge. And I think we've done a good job of that. And I think we kind of saw the light early with, all the different mechanisms that we sell through Amazon. We sell through Amazon at the retail level. So, they're buying inventory and selling it as their own. They control the price that you see on there. Like there's, very little control on our end, which is another whole conversation. And then we also try to leverage, third-party sellers that we have a good partnership with to make products that just aren't viable anymore in the retail channel available to the end user, through Prime. And it's like a ballet or something, it's every day there's something else and you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So.
And absolutely. And you can't solely rely on Amazon to get your product out. Right. And so I had a good friend tell me once, and I've really been thinking about since Workbench Con started, I've really started thinking about this more. And I was told if your business solely relies on somebody else's business, you don't have a business.
Yeah, right? You and I talked about that. Yeah,
right. And really, that really started from the stem of YouTube, right? Like, so if your business as a content creator solely lies on YouTube, you don't have a business because Google could get rid of YouTube at any day, and now where's your business, right?
Yeah, they make one change of their operating agreement, and they could screw you up. I mean, it could sink you.
Yeah, and then I started thinking about that with Instagram, especially now, seeing the massive amount of influx of Instagram creators and coming in, especially for Workbench Con. And it's half these people or quarter, I don't even know the number, but just the fact is there's a lot of people there that that's it. They have Instagram, and that's what they rely on. So if you're relying on somebody else's platform, Instagram could go away. Then your business goes away. Where else are you at? And the same thing, large scale manufacturing, what you're talking about. If you're a great company,
exactly,
and you're a big company, you're a bigger company than an individual. But at the same time, if you're only selling through Amazon and Amazon decides to kick you out of their program or whatever, overnight, where do your customers come now, right? So
exactly,
trying to build that brand outside of somebody else's is, or that your market, right? We want people to come to our website to buy it. Do you get the free 2-day shipping? Yeah, but probably not. But that's where Amazon cornered the market in 2000.
Exactly.
I think it was in 2008. Because I remember where I was sitting in my house on my couch the first time I got an email about join this Prime program that we're having, and it was $69 or $79 or something for the year, and I was I don't know if I'll buy very much off that. But then I ordered something for my wife's Christmas present, and it was $25 shipping. I was okay, well, I'll just pay the extra and we'll see. And then now, because we're in such a connected society and we're in demand, we want something now. It's hard to compete with that, especially as, I go buy off of your website and I may get it in 3 to 5 days or 7 days or whatever, versus going to Amazon, I get it in that 2 days. You really have to start like setting yourself apart on that.
Yeah, I think like exactly what you said. Like, first thing is you got to focus on your brand. Like that's the one thing you actually control. Like I guess that's the first question you'd ask is what am I in control of? Well, I'm in control of my brand. So let's focus on that. Let's try to make that of some value. And you know, as you build employees, you gotta make payroll. You got all these other things. So it's like, how do you unleverage yourself from these things that could affect you? Like you were saying, like it's like if you're relying on a single platform, that's a big problem. You know, the rug gets pulled out from underneath you, and what are you going to do? You know, and and for us as a brand, so you know, we have Amazon, and again, I don't want to like, you know, I don't want to come across as me being critical of them necessarily. I mean, I'm fine with being critical, but you know, they've helped us grow. It's the truth. And I think that collectively, not, you know, Wall Control's done our little part, but I think collectively brands have helped them grow. Like if they don't have anything to sell, then what do they got? And I think that making sure that relationship continues to be beneficial for both parties would benefit their business, you know? And so I think that it's funny with Amazon. It's like every year there's some other thing it seems like they're really focused on. Like one year it's assortment, one year it's profitability, one year it's packaging efficiency, one year it's like always some, you know, initiative that, you know, bubbles up from the bowels of the behemoth. But it's like at a certain point, I think it'll be, you know, making sure that the brands and vendors, they're there, that are of quality, you know, feel like they're part of the conversation, you know, and they're not just being told what they have to do. You know, we'll jump through as many hoops as we can, but there's only so much we can do. And so the shame of it is you have brands and companies trying to find some way to unleverage themselves from Amazon. Well, I don't want to spend my day trying to unleverage myself. I'd rather spend my day trying to find opportunities with the two companies, you know, like that seems like a bad relationship. If I was, you know, and they're humongous. What are they gonna, you know, what right do I have to criticize Amazon? But that would be, you know, it seems like a, you know, symbiotic relationship makes more sense than like a dictatorship kind of situation. So, but, yeah, so anyhow, that's that. But
now that we went down the Amazon tangent, but,
yeah,
so I did want to ask you, right? So, was Wall Control's brand, and company name always Wall Control before you started manufacturing the actual panels? So when you were just doing like the taps and the dies, and like, was that the name of the company, Wall Control?
Well, DeKalb Tool and Die is the name of the tool and die shop, but Wall Control has always been the name of like the metal pegboard system. Okay. So we kicked around some other names. You know, they were very like Easy Wall Organizer, very like I don't know.
So
like HGTV, or not HGTV, but like a lot. They're very like infomercial names. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad we settled on something that wasn't like, didn't have a Z in it and some crazy, you know, like upside down question mark or something. So
so to this day, does the die shop and the Wall Control, are those still like two separate brands, two separate companies?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah, they're completely separate entities. So I mean, they obviously are very close, but yeah,
no separate. DBAs or nothing. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, no DBAs, no. Yeah, they're completely separate.
So it's just beneficial that they can pop out your own product, you know. So
yeah, exactly. So it's like kind of the joke, like they keep wanting an award for Manufacturer of the Year because they get those from other brands. But yeah, Wall Control's yet to give them one, even though they're our manufacturer, you know. So I think we can get cheaper parts down the road. You know, it's just like kind of a running joke. But yeah, they if in the most sterile sense, DeKalb Tool and Die manufactures Wall Control's product, and we have a very good relationship with them. Like that would be the, you know, what you'd write on some very sterile piece of paper or something, you know. So
your grandfather and your grandmother actually work out of the tap dual the die shop, right?
Yeah, my granddad is over there, and y'all met him when y'all came. Yeah, he's over at DeKalb Tool and Die. My dad is over there too because he's he's old school tool and die also. My dad's a smart guy. He's very good with tool and die. And then the wall control side, it's me. As far as like my family goes, it's me, my brother, and my mom are over at Wall Control. So
this is still truly a family-run business, right? Because you introduced this, you're like, this is my aunt. Yep, she does all the payroll. And,
my aunt does. She was in today. We do payroll on Thursday. She was there today doing payroll. I did like a mini tour today. It's funny because I honestly where y'all went where I took y'all for the manufacturing side of it. Mm-hmm. I maybe have to go over there. Maybe once a month I'll go over there. My dad comes over every day for lunch to Wall Control, but so he's like the messenger pigeon with any sort of notes or whatever come over. But I took we were trying to hire a customer service person, and me and our other guy Kirby, who y'all met at Workbench Con. He's only been with us about a month, and it was a friend of his who we're gonna get to do customer service for. Anyhow, we took her over there, and it was like a mini tour of what we did last week. So it was and my aunt was there doing payroll. That's how we started on that conversation together.
Yeah. We'll have to get some more tours going because I mean it's just it was crazy to see
absolutely
how all the parts just kind of flow together.
Yeah. We're good at we cut our teeth in the tool and die world on really big stuff. So we have big presses, we make big stuff, and it helps. Wall Control doesn't look big, but it's when you manufacture it like we do, you need a lot of press bed, and so that's kind of it's funny. Like the size of it was originally dictated by the length to run we had in manufacturing. So 16 by 32. I mean. The width is designed so you can line up the outer edge of the panel to the center line of a stud and hit studs all the way down. But the 32 just happened to be a nice, times 2 of 16 that was dictated by how we designed the tooling. And it's funny because, the people that try to rip us off, like all their panels are 16 by 32. And it's like you're copying our capacity. It's just it's a funny thing. So we have to.
That 32 is just kind of an arbitrary number that you can
exactly. Pick. It's as long as it can be for what we were doing.
Yeah.
And it's like you see other people do it and you're like, okay, so why is it 32? I know why it's 32 for us. I know how you make it. It's not the same. So anyways, it's just a funny thing.
I mean, it was cool seeing the one machine that just like fed through and it was bending all the sides around the ends. We're talking, 30 seconds and everything's bent around and like shaped.
Yeah.
So.
That was to my dad's credit. He's a smart guy, and he knew if we were ever going to do this at a higher level, it had to be engineered to be efficiently made. So it was a good and a bad thing. The tool and die shop was slow, so we were able to kind of hack away at making that. At the original die that made these things is the same thing. We have backup on backup kind of thing, but the original die that made it took forever to make because it's just people working on it when they're in between like billable hour kind of stuff, So when we finally got that bad boy in the press and started running it, I mean, it was something to see. Like we were all like, this is way better than we need. All right, turn it on. All right, turn it off. We got enough panels for a week. You know what I mean? Like it was like that kind of situation. So, but it's like you got to be able to. You have to build that economy of scale into it in the beginning, but it's a significant investment. I mean, if you were to go out and try to buy one of those things, it cost you a pretty penny. But it was good for us because we were able to support the payroll still while having guys work on something that would actually. It was basically an investment in ourselves, is what it was. So to build tooling like that,
I'm sure it paid for itself really fast.
It took a long time to pay for itself, but I think we're getting there now. So I think
that's great. Those machines that you guys have in there, it's just something to behold. I mean, big is an understatement. And I was just looking at it, it's like, this is like the size of a 4-story building.
Yeah, they're nuts. Big.
They're big. Well, then, so another thing that we got to see going on the Wall Control tour is that they're punching out like parts for school buses, and it's it's quick and it's crazy to see. Like, you know, you hear about wall control, you never really think about like, oh, they're like, you don't think about the die shop behind it, right?
Right.
You know,
the infrastructure that kind of supports it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. People think about, all right, well, you obviously have to have a manufacturer somewhere. Okay, cool. Y'all manufacture it, but they don't think about all the other things. Or at least I didn't think about all the other things that you were manufacturing behind it. Like, I mean, literally seeing just the tops of the school buses being stamped out, it was crazy. Like that. And the fact is that like you can like pick it out. You can be like, all right, well, there's where the lights go, and there's where, you know, the little sign on the top goes, and so it's really cool.
It's fun. That's that's one of the fun parts of it for me. Like anything, like any car panel you see, or you know, shock strut mount, or like any random thing you see that's made of sheet metal was stamped somewhere. I mean, that's by and large like a process that's used to make that stuff, and somebody did it. And you know, a handful of things we did, and it's like cool to it's cool for me to see it, knowing that we made it. It's like my dad, he had an F-150, or he still has an F-150, but it's like there's pieces on that he designed the die that makes those pieces. We don't necessarily run those parts anymore, but like the piece that's made, he made the tooling, or he designed the tooling for it, and our shop made the die. And just little stuff like that that's kind of fun, you know, like you know, I can go to Home Depot and look at a certain lawnmower and know, okay, well, we made the seat, the steel piece that the seat's mounted to, you know, like It's a super random thing, but it's kind of it is a source of pride, you know. It's one of the big things. I'd be remiss if we went through this whole thing and didn't. I mean, it's pretty much obvious with what we're saying, but like Made in USA is a massive part of our story and a huge part of what's important to us. So it's you know, it will be, the whole point of Wall Control was to support a American shop, like our own shop, and it will always be that. Like that is a brand promise of ours. Like if you buy Wall Control product online, like it's going to be made in USA. Like that's just that's something we stand by. And it's funny because people are like, oh, well, why don't you do this or do that? And it's like, well, we might could do that if it's a third party kind of thing we need. We got to find a U.S. source for it. So, anyhow.
So, all right. Well,
cool.
I mean, that's a lot of information. So let's get in a little bit into. I know you do a lot of the marketing. Up until today, you did a lot of everything since you're the only person behind the email.
If you send an email to Wall Control, I answered it.
I probably know I did. I answered it. So, really, after kind of looking at having the tour last week and walking the Workbench Con, you know, we definitely have a lot of listeners that are into the content creation side and like to work with different companies and stuff. Do you have what do you look for when somebody approaches Wall Control to work with, to be a brand ambassador or to do some sponsorships or anything like that? Like what's some advice you can give?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd first like to say like so our product will go in a lot of different places. It'll go in kitchens, craft rooms, obviously the garage for like a, you know, car tool storage situation. But there's no community we've ever worked with that's like the maker community. I mean, it's insane. It's awesome. It's the absolute funnest part of what I do. It's why I like going to work, like working with you guys, and it's just crazy. Workbench Con was awesome. I mean, not to give like a plug or anything there, but it was like we had a absolute blast, and it's very rare that we will go to a show or conference where people walk up and just know how to use everything, you know, like they just intuitively can figure things out, you know? So usually there's a lot of explaining, and that's not the case with the maker community. They just are a smart bunch. So anyhow, all that to say, what we look for in a partner is really a partner. Like we're not we've never been the type, that you get all these solicitations like, we'd love to do a product review. Send us your product and we'll do a review. And it's like, what are you going to do when you're done with that? Are you going to like throw it away? Are you even going to mount it on a wall? Or are you just going to like take it out of the box and fiddle around with it, and say it's great or whatever. And so, the thing we like about working with the maker community is they actually use it and they give good feedback, and we can make the product better based on what we hear. And they're just partners, and it's more of a long-term thing. So anyhow, going back to the marketing, like the economics of it for us, it's kind of it's a hard judgment call, because you would be doing yourself basically you can't get yourself in a situation where the return on investment doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the first place you look. And that sounds like a sterile thing to say, but it's really what you have to look into. And so for us, our product is, it's admittedly not an inexpensive product. It's pretty expensive to make. It's heavy. It's powder coated. It's bulky to ship, so it's expensive to send. So, what we look at is, the first question we ask is, will this person be someone that we see being a good long-term partner? Somebody that we can help and that will help us, obviously, in return. And it sounds selfish to say, but you got to ask those questions. A
good relationship between a brand and a content creator or brand ambassador is a relationship, right? It's give and take. Mm-hmm. It's how can they help your brand grow, but how can you help them as well? So, yeah.
And that's the question we ask. The reality is, as a smaller brand, it's hard for us to do a lot for them aside from give them products and try to put them in front of our own audience. Mm-hmm. But the relationships we've made, and this again, for us, it all goes back to relationships and building those at a level that is an intimate, close kind of level, I guess. I don't know. But the people that we work with, I feel like we've got an incredible relationship with, and it will be my absolute goal to try to help them grow too. Because I feel like they've given us that same passion about our product, and it's that's what that just solidifies it. And that's what we're after, it's hard to find, and we're very blessed to have found what we found. And as we grow, it's all about I guess the first question we look at is, how can they help us? Obviously you have to ask that, but it's also how can we help them as they grow their brand, and that's that relationship piece of it is what is that's the I don't know. There's no metric that we have. There's not okay, this is what we look at and this is what blah, blah, blah. It's how does it make you feel? You know what I mean? And does it make you want to go to work and fight for them and then fight for you? And then, you don't know how it's going to end up or where, exactly what the structure is going to be. I mean, we have parameters or whatever, but honestly, if you want to work with Wall Control, just reach out to us and let us know what you want to do, and we'll figure something out. That would be the message I would give if you were interested in working with our brand. I don't have a sheet to hold up and say, here, blah, blah, blah. It's more like that kind of thing. So, and I think if you talk to people that we work with, they'll probably tell you the same thing. It's not like a black and white kind of deal. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, working with you guys for the past, I can't even tell you now when I first got my Wall Control, I don't know, 8 months ago or so ago. I mean, it's easily transformed, just the flow of my shop. So if any of y'all are out there on the fence about picking that up, just get one panel, right? And in fact, I told a good friend of mine this about a month or two ago. He was like, well, I'm really thinking about getting this. Everybody's playing with this Wall Control. What do you think about it? And I was like, dude, it's changed the flow of my shop. I no longer have to go into the drawers or cabinets for those everyday things like those drills, or more less the first aid kit. to be able to have those things displayed out, ready to go, like I walk over to the wall, I grab it, or God forbid an injury happens and that first aid kit's right there. So if nobody's really seen my setup, I have all white. Like I chose white everything, white hooks, white panels, white everything.
I got black accessories, but yeah.
But I do have one red set of hooks on there, and that holds my first aid kit. And I wanted that, and I think Richard even asked me. He was like, "Hey, dude, like,
yeah, I remember. I was gonna say,
but you have this one thing that's red," and I was like, "Yeah, man," because like, if God forbid I get hurt, my wife walks out there, my kids walk out there, like they know to look for the red hook. Like,
yeah,
red, at least red here means more or less, first aid or fire rescue. So like that, I think.
I got the star on the camera here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I couldn't be more pleased with it, and I hope everybody else wants to go check that out. Let's jump into a little bit of what's new before we jump out of here and go into an after show. Really want to remind you guys, like, if you didn't go to Workbench Con 2019, or even if you did and you didn't make it over to us to hear our talk, we're going to make that accessible to everybody. Go to our website, sign up for our newsletter, and once you sign up for our newsletter, it will send you the download link for you to download the audio file to our talk, and you'll be able to get to hear day one, our first day talk, and kind of the pros and cons about podcasting. And it was great. I mean, the first time that Drew and I had met in almost 5 years, it was the first time all three of us were in the same room.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't know that? Oh, yeah.
No.
So, that was the first time Drew and I had ever physically met in person.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I can say the same thing.
So Sam, the first time I ever met Sam in person was last year at Workbench Con. And I've only known her for half the amount of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the first time. In fact, Sam Raimondi from DIY Huntress was original third co-host, and so this was the first time all four of us were in the same place, same location. So it was good. It was it was
a big reunion.
Yeah,
big reunion.
It was an awesome event. I don't mean to interrupt or anything, but we were very. They did a great job, Kristen and that whole crew. I mean, it was. As a brand, I would highly recommend it. And, as makers and podcast hosts, it sounds like you guys are saying the same. So
yeah, it was great. Mm-hmm. So if you want to hear our talk, it was a great one. A lot of information given out and a lot of good questions from the audience. Go to woodshop101podcast.com and scroll down on the homepage. You'll see a link for our newsletter. Just go ahead and sign up for our newsletter, and then you'll get the download link automatically sent to you. If you are already part of our newsletter, just shoot an email to us, kickback@woodshop101podcast.com, and I will send you over access to that talk. So I know we've really had kind of a lot of people that wanted to hear it and weren't there, so we're happy to make that available for everybody.
Yep.
So, Richard, I know we were kind of talking about this, and you wanted to do a giveaway with us.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
What do you want to give away?
Well, as I understand it, I'm the 149th podcast. Is that right?
Yep, 149.
So we want to do a $149 giveaway for whatever you want from Wall Control. So basically, if you win, we'll give you a Woodshop 101 150 discount code. I don't know if that's what's going to be because I just said that, so it'll be something else. Yeah. But we'll give you. You're gonna get a discount code for $149.
So all right. So
very cool.
To do that, we're gonna. We'll throw up a widget on the website. So just go to woodshop101podcast.com and look in the menu bar, and you'll see the link for that. And then we'll have everything listed there. And I think we'll probably run it for the entire month of March before we pick a winner. So it's an opportunity to get some awesome product in your shop.
Y'all let me know like tag us whenever you share it, and we'll share it as well. So try to get it in front of our customer base that are not makers that might not be seeing this right now. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'll be a pretty good giveaway. Anybody loves giveaways, so go enter, because you will not be disappointed with it.
I want to enter.
Yeah.
No, you can't enter.
Oh crap.
So,
we'll talk after. We got you covered, Drew, so yeah.
I do know that there was a picture floating around on Instagram, and we talked to Adam about it. Yeah, did Adam talk to you about this? Like,
no.
Where's this this Texas flag wall control?
Oh, the Texas
with the white star. Like, this is
me and Adam were texting like crazy. Oh yeah. So anyhow, apparently we have a lot of creative folks in Texas, and all you got to do it's a vertical panel and 2 horizontal panels. That's it.
But I don't want to do the work. I just want to order.
That's true.
I want to get online and order.
You want to just
Texas
order
edition
flag.
wall
I
control.
Totally understand.
Texas
I
edition
understand.
wall control.
So I think that if you look, I don't know if Instagram has this, but there's at least 4, maybe 5 edits to that one post. It's a record for us. So anyhow, it's not a kit, but it's easy. Go to Michael's, pick up a star, a can of white metal spray paint, and you're all set.
Yeah. So no, I totally.
I saw that and I was like, "Oh no, where's Jeremy?"
Yeah,
absolutely. So Jay and I immediately like Adam started texting Jay from Diamedetta ATX and was like, "Look, that is not like we don't manufacture that." We're like, "Nah, nope."
Jeremy, we're gonna make you one. You will have the only Texas flag.
Oh, yep.
Only Texas flag turnkey kit made by Wall Control.
That's awesome. You hear that, Jay?
I cannot guarantee its longevity, and I can guarantee the panels. They're for life, and I can guarantee the powder coat for life. The star is going to be homemade, so you might have to touch it up, but you will have it.
Hey, look, the only one. That's all that matters.
We are. That is top of my to-do list next week. So
yeah, there we go.
We got you covered.
Jay, you're gonna have to come to my shop to see it. So
you will have the only.
That's awesome.
100% Wall Control Texas flag kit.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
that's funny.
Man, it was awesome having you on, Richard. I know we've had a lot of conversations over the last week, but man, it was definitely great to get you on. I know
it's an honor for me, man. It really is. I like I said, this is my first podcast. Happy to be on with you guys. Y'all have been super fun to hang out with. Jeremy, it's been fun working with you for months. And it's been over a year that we've been.
God, I don't even know.
Anyhow, it's been a while, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's that, and going back to the whole thing about quote unquote working with Wall Control, man. It's all about relationships. It's been that way from the beginning, and that's what's. I was actually emailing with Kyle from Whirly Fab. Awesome guy.
Yeah, right.
And we were talking about the same kind of thing, and it's just everybody talks about hard work and opportunity or luck or whatever you want to call it, and like the balance between the two. But the third leg of that, I think, that people don't talk about so much is relationships, man. And that I feel like is the very small detail that wins the day. All things being equal between hard work and luck. And I think that we've been fortunate and blessed to have realized that naturally. And you kind of look back and reflect on that, and it's like that's what, and that's the fun stuff, man. That's that's what if it's all about, if it's all just a kind of a sterile thing, I don't know. It's just not fun. Anyhow, the relationships are where it's at, and that's what we found in the maker community is just awesome folks. So
yeah, a lot more personable.
Oh yeah,
a lot more personable.
Yeah, a lot of fun on the weekend too, man. Yeah, a lot of fun at the conference.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of too bad the conference is only once a year, but it's definitely like I really felt like last year, like close your eyes and wake up and it was already this year again. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to next year and the possibilities that's going to open up at Workbench Con. So Drew, you want to explain to Richard our sign off and then give contact information?
Well, just like all of our guests that we've had on the show, and if you've ever seen any of my YouTube videos in the past, you know how this works. But anytime that we do a sign-off, Jeremy had me bring my boom sign-off to the show.
Uh-huh.
So, and we did this at Workbench Con, and it rattled the walls. So it was rather fun to do. Yeah,
we did it
twice.
Interrupted other talks.
It interrupted some talks, but they knew who we were, so they were coming to expect it.
Yeah.
So whenever I give the cue, all I do is I count to 3, and we just do one big boom, and that wraps up the show. So before we sign off, though, we learned everything about wall control and about yourself. But how do people go ahead and get in contact with you guys if they have any further questions about the product?
Yeah, just honestly, just go to wallcontrol.com, and our contact info is at the bottom of any page. sales@wallcontrol.com. You can shoot me an email personally, rdgrove@wallcontrol.com. Fine with giving that out, because I'm going to see all the sales ones anyways. We've already talked about this. Any way you see to contact us, you'll get in touch with somebody, like somebody that's, I'll see it. We're small.
And like he said, it's all family oriented. So
really,
if one person doesn't get it, the other one will.
So really, they should go to Instagram and send 1,000 DMs to Instagram.
I'm sorry. Yes, Adam.
Yes.
Adam.
Yeah.
Well, be mad at me. Go to Instagram. Follow our Instagram. Please do that.
And just blast their inbox with DMs.
Exactly.
Give Adam something to work with.
Wake him up, man. He needs
Make him work.
Turn the notifications off or something. So
just do one word DMs each time.
It's funny. I don't mean to like keep talking, but so I get Instagram on my phone too, the wall control ones, and Adam will get mad because I'll click on all the red stuff and then he won't see it, because apparently if I do it on my phone, he doesn't see it on his. Mm-hmm. So give me a lot of like red stuff to click on and make him mad about. That'll be fun.
Awesome.
All right. Well, Jeremy, go ahead and give your contact info.
You can find me at countrysideworkshop.com. If you want to email me, that's jeremy@countrysideworkshop.com. The quickest way to get a hold of me is probably Instagram or Facebook. I'm starting to try to get a little bit more active on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, Countryside Workshop. So what about you, Drew?
My best place to go would be rhwoodshop.com. All of my contact information will be listed there. I have links to all of my social media, including Facebook and Instagram. Pretty active there. Also, getting back into the YouTube game. So if you guys have found my YouTube channel, dropping me comments in those videos, I answer those pretty regularly too. So if you're interested in getting together with the podcast crew itself, you can reach us by email, which is kickback@woodshop101podcast.com. Don't forget, we have a voicemail number that you can call, and you can be featured on air with us, just giving us feedback or questions, whatever you got. And that number is 409-234-3959. And the voice memo app that you have on your phone, you can send it to the email address I just mentioned, and it does have a lot better audio quality. And for those of you that are interested in contacting Sam, even though she wasn't here today, you can reach her at samryandesigns.com, and all of her contact info is there as well. So we do want to thank Richard one more time for being a guest on our show.
Thank you guys. My
week.
Thank you.
And for those of you that are patrons of the show, he will be in our after show. And if you aren't a patron of the Woodshop 101 podcast, I suggest you become one, because you're going to get some information in the after shows that you won't hear anywhere else.
I can guarantee it. I don't even know what I'm going to say. It's going to be crazy.
So from Jeremy, Sam, who isn't here, Richard, and myself, we want to wish you guys well. Please be safe in your shops, and we'll talk to you on the next podcast episode. So 1, 2, 3. Boom!